Beckendorf grinned as he pushed a button on his command console. Steel cables shot out of the front of his mechanical horses and wrapped around the back of our chariot. Our chariot shuddered as Beckendorf's winch system started working, pulling us backwards while Beckendorf pulled himself forward. Annabeth cursed and drew her knife. She hacked at the cables, but they were too thick. "Can't cut 'em!" she yelled. Festus' chariot was now dangerously close, the horses about to trample us underfoot. "Switch with me," I told Annabeth. "Take the reins." "But—" "Trust me." She pulled herself to the front and grabbed on the reins. I turned, trying to keep my footing, and uncapped Riptide. I slashed down and the cable snapped like a kite string. We lurched forward, but Beckendorf's driver swung his chariot to our left and pulled up right next to us. Beckendorf drew his sword. He slashed at Annabeth, and I parried the blade away. We were coming up on the last turn. We'd never make it. I needed to disable the Festus chariot and get us out of the way, but I had to protect Annabeth too. Just because Beckendorf was a nice guy didn't mean that he wouldn't send us both to the infirmary if we let our guard down. We were neck and neck now, Clarice coming up from behind, making up for lost time. "See ya, Percy!" Beckendorf yelled. "Here's a little parting gift." He threw a leather pouch into our chariot. It stuck to the floor immediately and began billowing green smoke. "Greek fire!" Annabeth yelled. I cursed. I heard about the stories about what Greek fire could do. I figured we had maybe 10 seconds before it exploded. "Get rid of it!" Annabeth shouted. But I couldn't. Hephaestus's chariot was still alongside, waiting until the last second to make sure their little present blew up. Beckendorf was keeping me busy with his sword. If I let my guard down long enough to deal with the Greek fire, Annabeth would get sliced and we'd crash anyway. I tried to kick the leather pouch away with my foot, but I couldn't. It was stuck fast. Then I remembered the watch. I don't know how it could help, but I managed to punch the stopwatch button. Instantly, the watch changed. It expanded, the metal rim spiraling outward like an old-fashioned camera shutter. The leather strap wrapping around my forearm until I was holding a round war shield, 4 feet wide, the inside soft leather, the outside polished bronze engraved with designs that I didn't have time to examine. All I knew, Tyson had come through. I raised the shield, and Beckendorf's sword clanged against it. His blade shattered. "What?" he shouted. "How?" He didn't have time to say more, because I knocked him in the chest with my new shield and sent him flying out of the chariot, tumbling into the dirt. I was about to use Riptide to slash at the driver when Annabeth yelled, "Percy!" The Greek fire was shooting sparks. I shoved the tip of my sword under the leather pouch and flipped it up like a spatula. The firebomb dislodged and flew into the Hephaestus chariot at the driver's feet. He yelped. In a split second, the driver made the right choice. He dove out of the chariot, which careened away and exploded in green flames. The metal horses seemed to short-circuit. They turned and dragged the burning wreckage back towards Clarice and the Stoll brothers, who had to swerve to avoid it. Annabeth pulled the reins free for the last turn. I held on, sure we'd capsize, but somehow she brought us through and spurred the horses across the finish line. The crowd roared. Once the chariot stopped, our friends mobbed us. They started chanting our names, but Annabeth yelled over the noise, "Hold up! Listen! It wasn't just us!" The crowd didn't want to be quiet, but Annabeth made herself heard. "We couldn't have done it without somebody else. We couldn't have won this race, or gotten the fleece back, or saved Grover, or anything. We owe our lives to Tyson, Percy's brother," I said loud enough for everybody to hear. "Tyson is my baby brother." Tyson blushed. The crowd cheered. Annabeth planted a kiss on my cheek. The roaring got louder after that. The entire Athena cabin lifted me and Annabeth and Tyson on their shoulders and carried us towards the winter platform, where Chiron was waiting to bestow the laurel wreaths. Chapter 20. The Fleece Works Its Magic Too Well. That afternoon was one of the happiest I've ever spent at camp, which maybe goes to show you never know when your world's about to be rocked to pieces. Grover announced that he'd be able to spend the rest of his summer with us before resuming his quest for Pan. His bosses at the Council of Cloven Elders were so impressed that he hadn't gotten himself killed and that he cleared the way for future searchers that they'd granted him a 2-month furlough and a new set of reed pipes. The only bad news? Grover insisted on playing those pipes all afternoon long, and his musical skills hadn't improved much. He played YMCA, and the strawberry plants started going crazy, wrapping around our feet like they were trying to strangle us. I guess I couldn't blame him. Grover told me he could dissolve the empathy link between us now that we were face to face, but I told him I'd just assume to keep it if that was okay with him. He put down his reed pipes and stared at me. "But if I get in trouble again, you'll be in danger, Percy. You could die." If you get in trouble again, I want to know about it. And I'll come help you, G-Man. I wouldn't have it any other way." In the end, he agreed not to break the link. He went back to playing YMCA for the strawberry plants. I didn't need an empathy link to know how the plants felt about it.